Have you ever felt trapped in your own mind, stuck in an endless cycle of thoughts, replaying past mistakes, overanalyzing what someone really meant, or typing out the perfect response, only to erase it and send "okay" instead? Welcome to the prison of overthinking. The doors are wide open, but somehow you never walk out. Let's be honest. Overthinking isn't just an annoying habit. It's a silent enemy. It robs you of your time, drains your energy, and fills your mind with endless doubts. It convinces you that if you just think a little more, analyze a little deeper, you'll finally find the right answer. But that moment never comes. Instead, you just sink deeper. Overthinking doesn't protect you. It paralyzes you. It tricks you into believing that thinking is the same as acting. But here's the cold, hard truth. Thinking is not action. No matter how long you analyze a decision, you can still get it wrong. And even if you make the perfect choice, life will still throw unexpected problems your way. So today, we break the cycle, right here, right now. I'm going to share 5 powerful Stoic strategies that will help you escape the trap of overthinking before it consumes your life. Some of these will hit you hard, some might make you uncomfortable, but if you truly apply them, they will change your life. If your own thoughts have been holding you hostage, it's time to take back control. Guard your mind, protect your peace, reclaim your freedom. And if this message spoke to you, don't keep it to yourself. Like, subscribe, and share, because someone else out there needs to hear this too. Now tell me, what's one decision you've been overthinking for too long? Drop it in the comments, and let's tackle it together. Your peace starts with a choice. Make it today. Number 1, stop letting overthinking steal your life. Take back control. Now, what if I told you that overthinking is not just a bad habit, but a thief? A silent thief that robs you of your peace, your time, and your ability to enjoy life. Every moment you spend, lost in endless what-ifs and worst-case scenarios, is a moment you never get back. How many hours have you wasted replaying past mistakes? How many nights have you spent obsessing over a conversation, analyzing every word, convinced you said the wrong thing? How many times have you wanted to do something, apply for that job, start that project, send that message, but your mind talked you out of it? Overthinking doesn't just slow you down, it stops you. It locks you in a prison where the doors are wide open, yet you refuse to step out. And the worst part? The only person keeping you trapped is you. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. Seneca. The Stoics knew this truth over 2,000 years ago, yet here we are, still torturing ourselves with imaginary problems. Most of the things you stress over never even happen. The fears you build up in your head are often just shadows, things that seem terrifying in the dark, but disappear when faced with action. Think about this. If a thief broke into your home and started taking your valuables, you'd fight back. You'd do everything in your power to protect what's yours. So why do you sit back and let overthinking rob you blind? Why do you allow it to steal your confidence, your sleep, your happiness? It's time to take back control. Let me tell you something that changed my life. There was a time when I let overthinking control me. I would agonize over every decision, afraid of making the wrong move. I wanted certainty before I took action, convinced that if I just thought hard enough, I could guarantee a perfect outcome. But no matter how much I analyzed, I was never any closer to an answer. One day, I realized something. Overthinking doesn't lead to clarity. It leads to paralysis. I wasn't making better decisions. I was just delaying them. The longer I thought, the more confused I became. The more options I considered, the harder it was to choose. So I made a change. I decided that action was the only escape from overthinking. If I couldn't decide in a reasonable amount of time, I'd make a choice and deal with the outcome. And you know what happened? My life got better. Not because I started making perfect decisions, but because I was finally moving forward. If you wish to improve, be content to appear clueless or stupid in extraneous matters. Epictetus. What does this mean? It means stop obsessing over every tiny detail. Stop worrying about what people will think. Stop trying to predict the future before you take action. Instead of aiming for certainty, aim for progress. Because here's the truth. You'll never feel 100% ready. You'll never have all the answers. But that's okay. The Stoics teach us that what matters isn't knowing every possible outcome. It's knowing that no matter what happens, we can handle it. So today, I challenge you. Catch yourself when you start overthinking. Pause. Breathe. Ask yourself, is this helping me? Or is it just keeping me stuck? And then, take action. Even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's scary, even if it's messy. Because every moment you let overthinking control you is a moment you'll never get back. And trust me, your life is worth more than that. Number 2. Your mind is lying to you. Break free from the overthinking trap. How many times has your mind convinced you that something terrible is about to happen, only for nothing to happen at all? How often do you replay old conversations, overanalyze people's words, or stress over decisions like your entire future depends on them? Your mind whispers, think a little more and you'll figure it out. But the truth, the more you think, the more trapped you become. Your mind is not always your friend. It can be a master manipulator, feeding you doubts, worst-case scenarios, and imaginary disasters. It convinces you that overthinking is problem-solving when really, it's just fear in disguise. Overthinking doesn't lead to clarity, it leads to exhaustion. The Stoics had a simple philosophy: focus only on what you can control and let go of the rest. But overthinkers do the opposite. We cling to every thought, trying to predict the future, rewrite the past, and control things that were never in our power. It's like standing in quicksand. The more you struggle, the deeper you sink. Imagine this. You text a friend and they don't reply for hours. Your mind immediately jumps to conclusions. Did I say something wrong? Are they mad at me? Are they ignoring me on purpose? But then, hours later, they respond like nothing happened. They were just busy. You wasted all that mental energy worrying over nothing. That's the trap of overthinking. Your mind builds a cage, and you willingly step inside. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. Seneca. The problem isn't reality, it's the stories we tell ourselves about reality. And the longer we sit with those stories, the more real they feel. Overthinking turns a small issue into a catastrophe, a minor decision into a life or death situation. But here's the truth. Most of the things we fear never actually happen. So how do you break free? You stop treating every thought as truth. Not every thought deserves your attention. Not every worry is a warning sign. Thoughts are just that, thoughts. They come and go, and most of them are completely useless. You don't have to believe everything your mind says. When you catch yourself spiraling, step back. Ask yourself, is this really happening, or is this just my fear talking? If it's fear, let it go. If it's doubt, move forward anyway. If it's uncertainty, accept it, because certainty is an illusion. Number 3, ditch the illusion of certainty. Make decisions without fear. What if I make the wrong choice? What if I regret it? What if there's a better option? These are the questions that keep overthinkers trapped in mental quicksand. They chase certainty like a mirage in the desert, believing that if they think hard enough, analyze long enough, and plan perfectly, they can eliminate all risk. But here's the hard truth. Certainty is an illusion. You will never have all the answers. You will never be 100% sure. And the longer you wait for that perfect moment of clarity, the more life will slip through your fingers. The Stoics understood this well. Seneca once said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Most of the fear we feel isn't about what is happening. It's about what might happen. It's about our desperate need to control the uncontrollable. But life doesn't work that way. Think about it. Some of the biggest decisions in life, choosing a career, moving to a new city, committing to a relationship, are made without knowing the full outcome. And yet, people do them every day. Not because they're certain, but because they accept that uncertainty is part of the deal. The ones who move forward aren't the ones who found all the answers. They're the ones who stopped waiting for them. I once spent months agonizing over a job opportunity. It paid well. It looked great on paper, but I was terrified. What if I hated it? What if I moved and regretted it? What if I failed? I made endless pros and cons lists, asked 100 people for advice, and kept waiting for a moment where I'd just know what to do. That moment never came. Eventually, I was exhausted from my own overthinking, so I took the job, not because I was sure, but because I realized I'd never be. And you know what? It was fine, not perfect, not awful, just fine. And when it stopped being fine, I moved on. That's when I learned something powerful. Decisions shape us, but they do not define us. We act like one wrong move will ruin everything, but life is flexible. You're allowed to adjust, to pivot, to change course. What matters isn't making the perfect choice. It's making a choice and adapting along the way. So here's my challenge to you. Stop waiting for certainty. It's never coming. Instead, ask yourself, if this goes wrong, can I handle it? 99% of the time, the answer is yes. You will survive. You will figure it out. You always do. Protect yourself from analysis paralysis. Guard your time. Reclaim your freedom from fear. Because life isn't waiting for you to be sure. It's moving forward whether you do or not. Number 4. Overthinking is mental paralysis. Here's how to escape. Have you ever sat there, trapped in your own mind, replaying the same thoughts over and over, too scared to act, too uncertain to move forward? You tell yourself you just need more time, more information, more clarity. But deep down, you know the truth. You're not preparing, you're stalling. Overthinking is not intelligence, it's not caution, it's mental paralysis. The more you analyze, the more you convince yourself that you're being smart, responsible, and thorough. But in reality, you're just standing still, watching your life pass you by. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." But most of us do the opposite. Instead of controlling our thoughts, we let them control us. Instead of acting, we hesitate. Instead of moving forward, we sink into fear. Picture this. You're at the edge of a swimming pool. The water is cold, and you know it'll shock your body the moment you jump in. So you stand there. You overthink. Should I jump now? What if it's too cold? What if I regret it? Maybe I should wait a few more minutes. Meanwhile, someone else runs past you, leaps into the water, and starts enjoying the swim, while you're still stuck in your head, doing nothing. That's what overthinking does to your life. We waste days, months, sometimes years analyzing decisions instead of making them. We think we're being careful, but really, we're just afraid. Afraid of failure, afraid of discomfort, afraid of making the wrong choice. But here's the truth. There is no perfect choice. Only the choice you make and what you do with it. A few years ago, I had a chance to make a big change in my life. A new opportunity, a fresh start. But instead of taking action, I spent months obsessing over the details. What if I fail? What if I regret it? What if I make the biggest mistake of my life? I told myself I needed more time, but in reality, I was just scared to decide. One day a friend called me out. "You already know what you want to do. You're just waiting for some magical moment where everything feels 100% safe. That moment will never come. Either you do it or you don't." That hit hard, but it was exactly what I needed to hear. I took the leap, and guess what? The decision wasn't perfect. Some things went wrong, some things went right, but in the end, I figured it out, just like I always do, just like you always do. So, here's the lesson. Overthinking doesn't protect you, it steals from you. It robs you of time, of peace, of opportunities you'll never get back. Next time you find yourself stuck in an endless thought loop, remind yourself, you're not thinking, you're delaying. Ask yourself, what would I do if I wasn't afraid? And then, do that. Your life is waiting. Stop freezing. Start moving. Number 5. Stoic wisdom will save you. Master your thoughts before they master you. Who is in control? You or your thoughts? Do you own your mind, or does your mind own you? Most people don't realize they are prisoners of their own overthinking, trapped in an endless loop of doubts, fears, and second-guessing. But here's the truth. If you don't master your thoughts, they will master you. This is where Stoic wisdom can save you. The Stoics believed that we suffer more in our minds than in reality, not because life is cruel, but because we refuse to take control of our own thoughts. They knew that the real enemy isn't the outside world, it's the chaos inside our heads. Overthinking is like a storm that never ends. It shakes your confidence, clouds your judgment, and keeps you frozen in fear. But the good news, you don't have to live this way. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Think about that for a second. Most people try to control things they can't. What others think, the outcome of their decisions, the unpredictable nature of life. But what actually destroys them is their refusal to control what they can, their own thoughts, reactions, and beliefs. Imagine standing in front of two doors. One leads to peace, clarity, and action. The other leads to endless doubt, fear, and hesitation. The crazy part? Most people choose the second door every single day without even realizing it. They let their thoughts push them around like a bully, convincing them they're not ready, not good enough, or that they'll make the wrong choice. But here's the reality. You can walk through the first door at any moment. You just have to choose it. Have you ever been trapped in a loop of overthinking where your brain refuses to shut up? Maybe you were lying in bed replaying an awkward conversation or obsessing over a decision until you felt paralyzed. Overthinking isn't just mental noise, it's self-inflicted suffering. And the worst part, it changes nothing. So how do you break free? The Stoics had a simple rule: separate what you can control from what you can't. Instead of drowning in what-ifs, ask yourself, is this something I can change? If yes, take action. If no, let it go. The more you focus on what's outside your control, the more powerless you feel. But the more you take charge of your own mind, the stronger you become. Think of your mind like a wild horse. If you don't train it, it will run in every direction, dragging you through the mud. But if you take the reins, if you learn to direct it, it becomes your greatest tool. Overthinking is just your mind running wild. Stoicism hands you the reins. And here's the brutal truth. No one is coming to save you from your own thoughts. No one is going to swoop in and say, "Hey, stop overthinking. Here's the perfect answer." That's on you. You are the only one who can decide to stop the cycle, to step back, to regain control. So next time your mind tries to pull you into a spiral, remember this. You are not your thoughts. You are the one who observes them, directs them, and chooses which ones to believe. If you don't master them, they will master you. Choose wisely. Number 6. Destroy the overthinking cycle. 5 brutal truths you must accept. Ever feel like your thoughts are running in circles, trapping you in a maze with no exit? You go over the same decision, the same fear, the same what-ifs, but no matter how much you think, you never feel closer to clarity. That's because overthinking isn't problem-solving, it's self-inflicted suffering. It keeps you stuck in hesitation, drains your energy, and robs you of the one thing you can never get back: time. The brutal truth. Overthinking changes nothing except your peace of mind. You can spend hours, days, even years analyzing a decision, but at the end of the day, life still moves forward with or without your permission. So why do we do it? Because deep down, we believe if we think long enough, hard enough, we can control the outcome. But control is an illusion. The only thing overthinking guarantees is exhaustion. As the Stoics said, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Your mind builds catastrophes that may never happen while life passes you by. Overthinking won't prevent failure. It just ensures you never take a step forward in the first place. Imagine you're standing at the edge of a cold swimming pool. You dip your toe in, hesitate, and tell yourself, maybe if I think about it a little longer, it won't feel so cold. But no amount of thinking will change the temperature. The only way to adjust is to jump in. Decisions work the same way. Thinking about them doesn't make them easier. Taking action does. I've been there. I've spent months over-analyzing decisions that, in hindsight, barely even mattered. I once spent weeks debating whether to send a single email. Weeks. And when I finally sent it, the reply came in 2 sentences, and life moved on. I realized then how much time I had wasted for absolutely nothing. It was a harsh wake-up call. Overthinking is just time theft, and the worst part? You're the one robbing yourself. So how do you break free? First, accept that you will never have all the answers. There is no such thing as the perfect decision, just the best one you can make with the information you have. Second, set a time limit. If a decision isn't life-changing, give yourself 10 minutes. If it is, give yourself 24 hours. When time's up, choose and move forward. No looking back. Third, train yourself to trust your instincts. Your gut knows what your brain is trying to complicate. Every second spent overthinking is a second stolen from actually living. Guard your mind, protect your peace, and reclaim your time. Life is happening now. Stop thinking about it and start living it. If overthinking has been holding you back, this is your chance to break free. We're not just talking. We're giving you the tools to take action, reclaim your mind, and protect your peace. If this message resonated with you, don't keep it to yourself. Like, subscribe, and share. because someone out there needs this just as much as you do. And now, I want to hear from you. What's one decision you've been stuck overthinking? Drop it in the comments and let's tackle it together. Your peace starts with a choice. Make it today. Number 7. Stop waiting for the perfect answer. Action is the only way forward. How many times have you held yourself back, waiting for the perfect moment? How many decisions have you delayed, hoping for absolute certainty? And how much time have you wasted thinking instead of doing? Here's the hard truth. Perfection is a lie. The only way forward is action. We overthink because we fear mistakes. We convince ourselves that if we wait long enough, think hard enough, plan enough, the right answer will magically appear. But it never does. Instead, we get stuck, overanalyzing every detail until we exhaust ourselves. And in that time, while we hesitate, life moves on without us. The Stoics knew this well. Seneca once said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." The fear of making the wrong decision is often worse than the actual consequences of making one. The reality? You could spend years waiting for clarity and still end up regretting your inaction. Think about it like driving in fog. You won't see the entire road ahead, but that doesn't mean you stop. You turn on your lights and move forward, step by step. That's how life works. No matter how much you prepare, you'll never see the full picture. But you must keep moving. I learned this the hard way. There was a time when I let indecision rule my life. A job opportunity came, and instead of saying yes or no, I froze. I listed pros and cons. I asked for advice. I played out endless what-if scenarios. But the more I thought, the more confused I became. And then, the opportunity disappeared. Not because I made the wrong choice, but because I made no choice at all. That's when I realized overthinking is self-sabotage in disguise. Mistakes aren't the enemy. Stagnation is. The people who win in life aren't the ones who wait for the perfect answer. They're the ones who take action, learn from their mistakes, and adapt. They don't waste time searching for certainty. They create it. So ask yourself, what have you been putting off? What decision have you been avoiding? And more importantly, what will it cost you if you keep waiting? Stop searching for perfection. It doesn't exist. The only way forward is action. Protect yourself. Guard your time. Reclaim your freedom. Number 8. Protect your peace. Guard your mind. Overthinking ends today. Your mind should be your safe place, not a battlefield. But if you're constantly overthinking, replaying past mistakes, worrying about things that haven't even happened yet, and second-guessing every little decision, then let's be honest, you're at war with yourself. Overthinking is an invisible enemy. It sneaks in quietly, disguising itself as being careful or making sure you're doing the right thing. But in reality, it's a never-ending loop of doubt and fear, keeping you stuck in a cycle that leads nowhere. It steals your peace, your focus, and your ability to move forward. The longer you entertain it, the harder it becomes to escape. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." And that's exactly what overthinking takes away from you, your strength. Every time you let your mind spiral out of control, you hand over your power. You become a prisoner of your own thoughts, chained to the fear of making the wrong move. But here's the truth. Your peace is worth more than your fears. And if you don't protect it, no one else will. Imagine your mind as a house. You wouldn't leave your front door wide open and let strangers walk in, rearrange your furniture, and throw garbage everywhere, would you? But that's exactly what you do when you let overthinking take over. You allow unnecessary worries, negative thoughts, and imaginary worst-case scenarios to storm in and trash the place. So, why aren't you guarding your mind the way you'd guard your home? It's time to step up. Protect your peace like your life depends on it, because in many ways, it does. The more you let overthinking control you, the less of your real life you actually live. You lose time, you lose sleep, you lose confidence, and worst of all, you lose yourself. The solution: take control, set mental boundaries. The next time you catch yourself spiraling, stop and ask, is this thought helping me or hurting me? If it's not helping, drop it. Not everything deserves your energy. Not every thought needs to be entertained. Guard your mind, protect your peace. Overthinking ends today. At the end of the day, overthinking is a battle you can win, but only if you choose to fight back. The longer you stay trapped in endless thoughts, the more life passes you by. Your peace, your mind, and your time are worth protecting. So stop waiting for the perfect answer. Stop letting fear control you. Take action. Take back your power. If this message hit home for you, let's talk. Drop a comment below. What's one thing you've been overthinking for too long? And if you found this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Let's reclaim our peace together.